1989 after his freshman year. While home in Mount Vernon, he linked up with a good childhood friend named Dwight Myers, also known as Heavy D. Growing up, Heavy D was like a
Heavy
big brother to
D.
Sean.
Heavy D.
A mentor in many ways. Well, Heavy was a talented rapper, and by 1989 he signed a major deal with Uptown Records. So over the summer he
Man has been hustling, man.
introduced his friend Sean to the owner of Uptown Records, a respected mogul by the name of Andre Harrell.
Uptown Records, man. That's a strong street man.
Right off the bat, Andre took a special liking to a young Sean Combs, like an oddly special liking. I guess he saw major potential in him because he decided to give
He's like an oddly special liking.
him a major opportunity right away. So in the summer of 1989, Sean was hired as an intern at Uptown Records. Over the summer, Sean spent countless hours in the studio and in meetings with major artists from around the country. It was truly a dream come true for a freshman in college, something
Yeah, living on the streets, man.
that's pretty much unheard of. Well, the fall comes around and Sean has to return to campus in DC. Andre didn't want him
Why don't just quiet? Do quiet.
to go and tried to convince him to drop out and stay with the label, but Sean's mother was not having it. So together they
Good mama, man.
came to a compromise. Twice a week, Sean would take the train from DC to New York to be at the Uptown office. This was
Twice a week.
4 hours each way, meaning that Sean spent a total of 16 hours a week just to remain an intern at Uptown. This really
Damn, 16 hours a week, man.
didn't make any sense. What could he bring to the table that required him to do all of this hassle? Well, you might find out in just a second, so hold on. This crazy lifestyle continued for a few months until Andre Harrell put his foot down. He offered him a full-time job at the label if he would drop out of Howard and return back to New York.
Oh, man. Drop out, man. Come back to New York, man. Damn. I like the story, though, but the story is a bit slow, man. You guys make it fast and let's get to see what's going on here.
Sean accepted it and it worked out extremely well. This is because at just 20 years old, Sean was promoted to the vice president of the label. Whoa, now we're all thinking the same thing, aren't we? Why in the world would Andre Harrell promote a 20-year-old to the vice president of his label? The music
Why? Tell us. I'm wondering why, man. Well, this is interesting news to know about PIDDY because really, I just knew PIDDY. I never really know PIDDY who he was. The story.
industry is one of the hardest to crack, and for most it takes decades to get this position. So how did Sean Combs really get this job so young? And that leads us to a little bit of deep diving history. Back in the day, Andre Harrell had
Deep diving history.
a very similar story to Sean Combs. He was another college student in the Bronx hoping to one day work in the music industry. And while in college, he was discovered by a legendary music mogul by the name of Clive Davis. For those who don't know, Clive is famous for founding
Man, see office with so much paper, man. This is what computer came and solved for us. Damn, see paper everywhere. Paperwork.
Arista Records and for being one of the first moguls to come out of the closet.
Ooh, damn. So there have been a long system of this, sleeping with. Oh my God. So this is where it originated. We're not teaching the younger ones.
Well,
Man, see the flag, man.
Clive took a special liking to Andre and took him under his wing in the music industry. Long story short, in 1985, Andre was given funding to start his own music label, one called Uptown Records. So
Uptown Records.
just like Puff, Andre went out and discovered underground rappers, one of which being Heavy D. So again, this begs the same question. How did Andre get this position at such a young age? Well, according to Sean's former assistant, it's all about
The questions has always been asked, man. Questions of young ages, man. Why? Are they being favored? Are they being honored? They being, blessed?
power dynamic with Clive Davis at the top. The insinuation is that the boss takes advantage of a young intern and will pay them back later on.
He loves the ability to manipulate and control people. Why? Most likely because he was victimized by his mentor, who loved to control people.
So they were taught well.
And his mentor was
Andre Harrell.
Tell us how
who
was
was
he
mentored by Clive Davis.
Don't tell me that Andre Harrell got by Clive Davis too. Don't tell me that Andre Harrell got by Clive Davis too.
That's a good mentor. So this was his mentors. This is the originality of everything.
Regardless of the truth, stories like these have always been rumored in entertainment. Essentially, you get taken advantage of by those in power, and that's how you make it in your industry. Then the idea is that over time, the former victims become the perpetrators. Now,
I know, right? When I went to, my mom believed in the Catholic Church so much that she sent me to seminary school. My seminary school was like the worst place that the child can ever go to. Molestation, homosexualism, you understand? Against your will, you just be sleeping and someone just come and kiss you.
Now, of course, these are all just rumors, but Jaguar does get more specific. When Sean was hired at Uptown, Andre Harrell had a personal assistant named Kim Porter, and the rumor states that she caught Sean doing special favors for Andre.
Like what?
But then again, you had it in for Andre because Andre used to make you and Kim Porter had footage of it. And Kim
I thought I heard something.
Porter had footage of it.
The rumors have never proven to be true, but they will be important
Footage.
later on. Well, make of all that what you want, but the fact is that Sean's career took off from here. After becoming the vice president of Uptown, Sean truly put his head down and grinded for success. He scouted the local underground scene in order to find his first diamond in the rough. This is how he discovered his first artist in 1991, an MC
Who? And that's one.
out of Long Island by the name of Craig Mack. Craig was an instant success, but Sean wasn't satisfied with
See face. Face is strong.
just him. While scrolling through the Source magazine, Sean was intrigued by a rapper in the unsigned hype section. This would be a young rapper out of
Diddy, Biggie.
Brooklyn by the name of Notorious Big. So in March of 1992, Sean got in contact with Big
Biggie. Can't you see? Dun, 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 dun.
and brought him to the studio.
Hey, almost 17 years old. God damn, man. God damn.
He was blown away by his talent and instantly
Damn. Ooh. Big is big, man. Who's the big man?
signed him to Uptown Records. Boom, this was his next Uptown protege. Now I know what you're thinking, but Biggie was a certified street dude and he was not going for that. It was strictly
Certified street dude. Damn.
a business relationship, and here is where things get interesting.
Alright, look at Mickey PDD. Let's get to know more PDD, man.
It's the fall of 1992, and Biggie completes his first album to be released. The debut album is called Ready to Die, and both him and Sean feel very strongly about the project.
Ready to die.
But there's a major problem in the way.
What's
Uptown's
up?
parent
What was the problem?
company refuses to release the album. They expressed that the album was not to their liking and contained too many explicit lyrics. As you would expect, Sean was upset and so was Biggie. Sean did not respond well to the decision, and because of this, he was fired from Uptown Records in late 1992.
No.
This was devastating, but Andre Harrell had his back no matter what.
Final straw for me was when MCA wanted me to not put out the Biggie Smalls album because they didn't like the subject matter, and they wanted me to tell him he's got to change his tone. And it wasn't up to me, I felt, to tell a generation what they could and could not do
No, correct. That's the way it's supposed to be done.
artistically. So I knew it wasn't going to work because he was coming from a new space and a new era. And Biggie Smalls was more like in the streets and telling street stories. And he told him, well, I'm really letting you go
Street story, man. Then street story. Oof.
so you can get rich. I'm really
letting you go so you can get rich. God damn.
letting you go so you can get rich.
But was this really the case, or was something else at play? Puff had just gotten fired from his dream job at the age of 23. Most people would be devastated, but Sean fell right back on his feet. Just
It's young, 22 years old.
a month after being fired, Sean started his own label called Bad Boy Records. Obviously, the 23-year-old didn't have the pockets to fund it himself, so it was initially a partnership with Arista Records.
Arista
Wait, let's get
Records.
this straight. So Sean was fired by Uptown and then given his own label by Uptown's bosses. How does that make sense? Well,
It doesn't make sense at all, man.
it's possible that Jaguar Wright was correct.
He stepped around Andre Harrell and gave you the keys to the kingdom. Andre was in line.
So again,
True, Andre was in line, man, but he stepped around him.
here's
Man.
the idea. Andre Harrell had to do special favors for Clive Davis in order to be hired and then get his own label. And once Andre established his label, he repeated the same cycle on Sean Combs. But for former Uptown singer and assistant Jaguar Wright, she believes that Clive Davis was in on it as well. I guess
God damn, man. Man with money. Money man. Money things. Doing big things.
her idea is that Sean did things for Andre in order to be hired, and then he did things for Clive in order to climb the ranks. And being that Clive is above both of them, he had the authority to give Sean his own label.
Andre got passed over. Like, how do you go from being the president of Uptown and losing your entire company to your intern?
Damn. Lose your goddamn company to your intern. Wow. That's dope. Man, this business and this world is a dog eat dog world, though. If you're not strong enough to eat you raw.
Like, Puff started out as an intern.
And that's because you know Clive Davis, and we all know he has lots of secrets. Clearly, he trusts you. He stepped around Andre Harrell and gave you the keys to the kingdom. Andre was in line.
If the rumored power dynamic is true, then Clive Davis did replace Andre Harrell with Sean Combs, meaning that now, instead of Andre, it was Sean doing special favors for Clive. And as a reward,
God
Clive
damn.
made Andre drop him from Uptown and gave him his own
You know what special requests are? Damn.
label. Of course, though, this is all silly speculation. But what's not speculation is that Uptown's artists were released from their contracts and were able to sign with Bad Boy Records. This way, Sean now had full control over Biggie and Craig Mack. Well,
See, man.
after starting Bad Boy, Sean started going by the alias Puff Daddy. This is a name given to him by his mom because when he was a kid, he used to huff and puff whenever he was mad.
Puff Daddy.
So now we enter the era of Puff Daddy and Bad Boy Records. Puff's Bad Boy released their first album in July of 1994, which was Craig Mack's Flavor in Your Ear. The album took off to immediate success, and this is how Bad Boy entered the industry. Then just 2
Puff Daddy. Puff Daddy.
months later, Biggie's debut album Ready to Die released as well. Both albums did well and Puff was eager to keep it going. So just 2 weeks after Biggie's album, Bad Boy released Craig Mack's second album Funk the World. Puffy couldn't miss and he was eager to recruit more and more new artists. He was becoming so respected in the industry that other moguls were coming to him for advice.
Chemo. People coming to you for advice.
And that takes us down to Atlanta, Georgia.
Probably
In
okay.
1992, music
92, Atlanta, Georgia.
mogul L.A. Reid discovered a 12-year-old singer named Usher Raymond.
Ooh, she makes so handsomely looking boy, ready to be eaten.
While watching him perform at a local talent show, he saw some Michael Jackson in him. He was so impressed that he signed him to his label LaFace Records at just 13 years old. Interestingly enough, LaFace Records was under the Arista umbrella. Just keep that in mind. Well, the story goes that in order to prep Usher for his music career, he was sent to go live with none other than Puff Daddy.
Ooh. Oh sure, do you have fun in the house? Guessing you had fun in the house though.
So at 14 years old, Usher was sent to live with Puffy full-time, something known as Puffy's Flavor Camp. I guess the idea was for Puffy to mentor him and send him down the
Flavor
right
camp,
path.
man. Oof.
But according to Usher, there
Usher, what's up now? Didn't you enjoy what you saw?
was a lot more going on than just that.
I moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you
New
over
York
to something
City.
called Puffy Flavor Camp
There you go.
to learn
Flavor camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what it
Camp.
was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In
to
the 90s, do you understand what
In the 90s, man.
that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I
Come
mean,
on.
but
Tell us. What was it?
hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13.
Ah, you enjoyed now. You want to enter music, you see it all.
What were you
I
seeing?
went there to see the lifestyle,
Right.
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild. It was,
So
it was
nobody
crazy.
tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I ain't
and-
say that.
Okay.
Man, what a wonderful life she's been living, man. Usher, man, you've been a bad boy.
I didn't
But
say
you
that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand it.
Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there, Lil' Kim, Craig Mack.
All these people
all
are
of
hanging
these-
around.
Yeah, man. Faith Evans,
Faith Evans?
Your
Missy,
parents were
Mary
okay?
J. Blige. They didn't know nothing about this shit.
Oh,
Mary J. Blige. Oh, man, you guys are all getting a freak on, man. He's just name dropping people. People are
I was
fucking.
having a good time. You know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat? Or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 in the morning with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than them.
and what kind, do you have money?
Damn, oh my God.
What's going on?
I mean, I had like per diem.
Yeah.
I had like,
What
like
a
a living.
life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever
I
send your
see.
kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
Hell no, man. Why? You wanna go to Puffy camp? I should do it too for this one.
Many people out there believe that Usher was Puffy's first victim of the power ritual. There's no proof
Alright. Abi. So true, man.
to show that, but these clips may convince you that something strange was going on.
I mean, back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before
Frosted Flakes, man. Damn, stand out like oof.
pause was invented. You know what I'm
Sick of how those laughing.
saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early with me. Now he's one of the richest stars in the world. And I'm
What the fuck did Puff just say?
Yeah, man, they used to wrestle, you know.
Nobody's gonna acknowledge this but me. Puff just said we used to wrestle over the Frosted Flakes, and we're streaming live. That was stupid.
So what do you guys think? Is Usher a part of surviving Diddy, or is this
That was stupid.
just a silly assumption? Well,
Surviving Diddy, man. Oh, bro, not so life supposed to be. Not so life be, man.
now we move on to the next chapter. Regardless of all the nonsense, Puff was truly a genius at discovering and developing artists, and in the process he was gaining immense wealth and power in the industry. As you would expect, the success got to his head pretty quickly. By many accounts, Puff grew an obsession with having complete control. He wanted control over everyone around him, even for the silliest things.
Even for the silliest things. Like what?
So here is the first example. The year is 1995 and Craig Mack is eager to continue his success. So he puts together his third studio album, one by the name of Operation Get Down. The story goes that he brings the album to Puff to get it released,
Operation Get Down.
but things don't go as planned. Puff allegedly tells Craig Mack that if he wants the album released, he has to fire his manager and then hire a bad boy manager. But Craig's manager is one of his closest friends and has
I know, right? Oof. Voila.
been rocking with him since day one. Because of this, Craig is loyal to him and tells Puffy no. Even though it's a silly request, Puffy is pissed because he doesn't have control over the situation.
Puff told Craig Mack if he didn't change management, he wasn't with him no more. Craig wasn't getting rid of his management. Craig said, yo, listen here, man, I'm not changing my manager just because you want to. Puff said, yo, I ain't with that kid no more. Not at all. I was right there when he said that. Told Craig Mack, you don't change your management, I ain't fucking with you.
Damn, I'm fucking with you, man. That was mean.
Craig stands on his principles and refuses to fire his manager, so Puffy decides to be petty. He completely stops paying him and refuses to release his music. This made things awkward at Bad Boy, as Craig no longer had the power to control his career or his narrative. In this 1995 interview, you can see the awkwardness on full display. Like, Craig Mack could not believe that Diddy would really lie on camera like that.
I'm sure you got much things in store for my man.
Yeah, definitely. We
Puffy.
got a new album we're working on him to drop in January. We got a new album we're working on him to drop in January.
You can see the disbelief in Craig Mack's face, like, no way he's saying this.
Oh, man, these pictures are when they made it 120p, so blurry. God damn.
From here, frustrations grew further between Bad Boy and Craig as Craig felt betrayed by his boss. I was your first artist. I was the one who took the risk and signed to your label. And more importantly,
exactly, man.
I've made you a whole lot of money. And now you're willing to throw away my career over a
I like that. Ching, ching.
manager. What is going on? But not only did Puff want his career to dwindle, it's also rumored that he wanted him killed.
Chile. God damn.
Craig knew what Puff was capable of, so everywhere he went, he rolled around with a blicky, something very risky in New York City. He even contemplated getting rid of Puff in order to save his own life.
God damn. See, man. Is that him? Oh my god. Cara macho. She's nose. Wow.
A gun in my lap. And I'm sitting there and I'm talking to God. I'm like, Lord, I don't want to do this. But
damn. That guy's face, man. Chai. Oh, man. This industry is wild though. She ain't strong, man. Don't mess with you, man.
If it comes to getting ugly where somebody's trying to kill me, I'm gonna have to do something first or do something to prevent that from happening.
Man, that's deep.
In what world should an artist have to fear for his life because his own boss wants to harm him? Well, Craig says that Puff tried to set him up at the studio, but when he showed up with certified goons, he decided to back off. So thankfully, the situation didn't end terribly, but it was the start of a new era for Puff.
Certified goons.
Puffy. Not only had he become a control freak, but now he was bringing the threat of violence to the table. Slowly, the golden child of the industry was becoming the villain behind closed doors. And now we enter Diddy.
Bad guy. Bad guy. Diddy's violent era.
While the Craig Mack drama was taking place internally, a whole nother beef was stewing in the industry. By the fall of 1994, Bad Boy had competition for rap's biggest label, and this would be California's Death Row
Records, man. See, man. Snoopy Doggy
Records. Particularly, Tupac had become the biggest star in rap and everyone wanted a feature. In this case, Uptown Records producer RAWGII wanted Tupac to record a verse for Biggie Smalls. So Pac asked for $7,000 and Bad Boy agreed to pay for the verse.
7 G's, man. Ooh, that's some cool cash.
So Pac records the verse with RAWGII
See how young girl's looking.
and is told to go to the Quad Studios in Manhattan to pick up the money. And that takes
I hope this was not when something bad happened, man.
us to November 30th, 1994. Pac arrives in Manhattan and walks to the Quad Studios. As he's entering the building, he hears some Bad Boy associates yelling his name from the upstairs window. Pac is excited to meet with Bad Boy and he walks in the lobby to take the elevator upstairs. But as he
Hope nothing bad happened, though.
approaches the elevators, 2 men in masks are waiting for him right there.
Damn!
Before he can run, the men whip out and reach for his pockets. Pac tries to fight them off, but that's when the men make a wild decision. While being carried out of the lobby, Pac flips off Notorious Big and other Bad Boy associates, assuming that they set him up. Thankfully though, Tupac would survive his injuries.
Dang! Oh man, so this is where all the wallet started now.
After a successful surgery. Speaking of injuries, if you or a loved one are ever injured, you deserve the absolute best. Morgan is out. This past December, a Florida man was awarded $12.2 million available local lawyers, and if so, biggest injury law firm with just one click. It's literally so. Or just click the link. Believe that Bad Boy set him up to be killed. At the time though, he couldn't do anything about it as he had his hands tied with a legal case involving a woman. In fact,
this guy is Wahala guy.
the day after his surgery, he appeared in court where he was sentenced to 8 months in Rikers Island.
Damn! 8
While
months, man.
incarcerated, the national story was that Bad Boy set him up to be robbed. On top of this, Pac did an interview while
Is this
incarcerated
Pac? It's looking so different.
where he said that Bad Boy did it overtly. He claimed that when he was on the way to the studios, Puff kept calling him to see where he was. He wanted to know when exactly he would get in, and that was Pac's main reasoning for thinking they set him up. Because of this, Puff was under major scrutiny, and he needed to clear it up.
Puffy, ideas. Oh my god. But music entertainment, like, comes from very wild people.
So I saw him saying what's up to me. I'm about to get on the elevator, and he comes out shot.
The Tupac article had me pissed off, you know what I'm saying? Because first of all, he dissed my man, said my man turned his back on him, and I know for a fact that didn't happen, you know what I'm saying? And like the rumors that's spreading is on some tip like we set him up, you know what I'm saying? And that's crazy,
If there's any psychologists watching, please let me know why Puff's eyes are having a dance battle.
Yes, prison.
Anyways, Puff was not done clearing the air. In fact, he visited Tupac at Rikers Island to assure him that Bad Boy had nothing to do with it. But was this really the case? Because Puff's bodyguard claims that he let this happen to Pac.
The people who
Is this Pac bodyguard?
knew what was going to happen to Pac was in the studio. Was in the part of the Quad Studio with Jimmy Hitchman, and that was Andre Harrell and Puffy. So Puff knew. Andre Harrell knew.
If Gene Deal's perspective hasn't
Man, this is serious matter. So you do want to pay Tupac?
convinced you, then maybe what happens next will. In February of 1995, Biggie released a hit song called Who Shot Ya, which many people think is a Tupac diss. And one of these people was Pac himself, who felt betrayed and lied to by Puff. You told me one thing to my face, but your actions proved otherwise. To an alpha male like Pac, that was the ultimate disrespect. Well, after the record, all peace was off the table and Death Row cut ties.
Man, see, man. So this was where how the problem started and the fight.
Eyes with Bad Boy. That takes us to August 3rd, 1995.
95, okay.
It's the
2 years
annual
has
Source
passed.
Awards in New York City, and Death Row were nominated for Soundtrack of the Year. Of course, tensions are in the air because the show is in New York, and everyone is curious if anything will happen. Well, Death Row wins the award, and Suge takes
Damn, see man, see a guy white. Choo.
stage.
First of all, I'd like to thank God. Second of all, I'd like to thank my whole entire Death Row family on both sides, you know what I'm saying?
Guys swear, guys fool.
I'd like to tell Tupac to keep his guards up. We ride with him. And one other thing I'd like to
See Snoop.
say, any artist out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star, don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the video, all on the record.
Diddy, man. See man that year.
This was obviously a sneak diss at Puff, and the crowd was not feeling it. To make matters worse, Snoop Dogg takes the stage. This moment here officially kicked off the Bad Boy vs. Death Row beef. This meant that Puff's gangster was now being put to the test for real.
Puff gangster, right?
That they exist on opposite ends of the map, interactions would not be often. But being in the same industry, the sides were bound to cross paths. September 23rd, 1995. Here we are in beautiful...
Damn, see that view.
Well, not at the time. But here we are in Atlanta, Georgia for Jermaine Dupri's birthday celebration at the Platinum House nightclub. Here, much of the rap industry will be in attendance by midnight. Early in the night, though, it's just the Bad Boy crew and associates hanging in the club before it opens. This would of course be Puffy, his bodyguard Wolf, Too Short, Dallas Austin, and plenty more. So they're all chilling in the club.
Too Short.
And a couple of hours go by. And this is when they receive some unexpected visitors. At 10 p.m., the Death Row crew arrive at the Platinum House parking lot. First, a Death Row associate named Big Jake walks in the club to scope it out. He then looks around and sees Puff Daddy and Jermaine Dupri sitting at a table in the corner.
Check it out, man.
He instantly walks back to the parking lot to tell Suge where they are. Then together, the massive duo walk into the club headed for
the massive duo. See, man. 8 to 10.
For Puffy. They walk straight up to the table, and that's when Suge Knight slaps Jermaine Dupri directly across the face. This is simply to get to Puffy, who's standing right behind him. Suge then
slaps him.
This is to the table, and that's when Suge Knight slaps Jermaine Dupri directly across the face.
Damn, on his birthday.
This is simply to get to Puffy, who's standing right behind him. Suge then grabs Puff by his arm and brings him in. He begins yelling at Puff, but that's when Wolf gets in between them. He tells Suge it's not gonna go down like that. So
see, man.
So it turns into a brawl, and they're all escorted out of the club. After all this, Suge and Puff actually hug it out and squash the beef. But then out of nowhere, shots go off across the street.
Damn.
So they all duck down and look over to see what's going on. All it is a man across the street shooting his gun into the air. But while everyone is distracted, a man walks right behind Big Jake.
We own the club, the Platinum House.
Suge Knight smoked down Biddy and Jermaine Dupri. McCoy detailed the night Big Jake life was ticking.
I had been at Jermaine Dupri's party and I seen Jake, and he was looking for Puff and they was looking for Jermaine them there. And I didn't see them at their own party. Jermaine Dupri, his security, Puff with Wolf. And Jake looks in and see these guys. Suge came back, boom, 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 boom. He came right in and slapped the shit out of Jermaine Dupri. Bah!
God damn.
And Puff was standing right there, and he snatched Puff with one hand. Suge had him with one hand and was shaking him. Then Wolf reached over and grabbed him. Shit ain't going down like this.
Oh, damn.
No more. Standing there, Suge's in front of with Puff. They walk into the limo. All of a sudden, somebody started shooting across the street. And I can see this dude just busting, pop, 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 pop. They were called the play for the overlay. They started shooting across the street to make everybody look. We looked, the dude came out of nowhere and just touched Jake.
Damn.
Jake was about 400
Damn.
pounds.
Big Jake was Suge's best friend and Death Row's security wherever they went. So this
Security, dang.
loss was devastating to Death Row, but they had no idea who did it. But then a few days later, 3 witnesses reported that Puff's bodyguard Wolf was the assailant. Whoa.
Hey. Damn. Man. To pull the trigger, man, on someone is crazy, man.
Ooh, did Puff's bodyguard take out Suge Knight's best friend? Well, about a week later, Wolf was arrested for the incident. So, does this mean that Puff ordered the hit of Suge Knight's best friend? Death Row definitely assumes so, but Wolf was able to beat his case about a year later. In the meantime, though, the beef was up. With Tupac shot and now Big J killed, Death Row was looking at Puffy like an absolute menace. And
As in a car, man. Like, these people just had to just look for trouble everywhere they went.
coincidentally, not too long after the loss of Big Jake, Tupac was released from Rikers Island. As soon as he got back to LA, he hopped in the studio and recorded Hit 'Em Up. One, if not the most disrespectful song in rap history. He dissed Biggie by saying that he smashed his girl and pretty much obliterated the whole bad boy camp.
Woo! As
you would expect, Puffy was pissed. But at this time, he felt invincible, so he decided to do the unthinkable. He decided to schedule a bad boy tour on the West Coast from Seattle down to San Diego. However, he knew that the tour was a risk, so he decided to tap in with his best connection in LA. This would be a man named PIDDY, who he met at a hydraulic shop in Compton. Essentially, in 1994, Puff asked Keefy if he could borrow one of his cars for a video, and they locked in from there.
He had called up our hydraulics place.
Keefy on how he met Puffy.
And asked to use a lowrider.
But Keefy wasn't just a car guy, he was also a high-ranking member of Compton's Southside Crips. So naturally, when Puff announced his tour, he hired Keefy and the Southside Crips to protect him.
Yeah, that West Coast
Crips,
tour
man.
coming up. But Zipper came pick me up. We rolling up Greenleaf in our neighborhood. And
we rolling up Greenleaf in the neighborhood, man.
his phone ring, boom. And it
Boom.
was Puff.
Boom.
And he like, you think it's cool to come out here and do concerts? I'm like, why it wouldn't be cool? Just let me know the dates and give me some tickets. We had a Crips there, but I see he was trying to play us against each other. Crips, Bloods, you know what I'm saying? Sugar, Blood, we the Crips.
So behind the scenes, Puff was potentially creating a beef between Compton Crips and LA Bloods.
I guess he played it smarter.
Smart guy.
Dude with the red, I get the blue.
Well, thankfully, nothing happened and the tour went smoothly.
Wow, that's Biggie, got to
But
see.
later that year, they would run into each other at the Soul Train Awards and they would have a standoff backstage. Allegedly, Tupac and Suge pulled up on Puffy.
You hear the door.
Oh, well, they didn't like themselves at all. Pulled up on Puffy.
Go boom, and then you see Tupac with Suge and about 1,000 Bloods and Crips walking down the middle of the auditorium, just screaming because Big them had just went off. So just imagine Tupac coming, walking down the aisle, walking up the steps, and just walking into the back. It wouldn't have been too good if they had got hold to him, because they couldn't have handled what they had with them at that time. Like, nah, they were totally outnumbered. Nah, they were
totally outnumbered, man.
Totally outnumbered.
Puff felt embarrassed and disrespected, and something needed to be done. So allegedly that next night, he took Keefy out to dinner on the Sunset Strip. And there, according to Keefy, Puff offered him $1 million to get rid of Pac.
He and Puffy are at this place called Greenblatt's Deli on Sunset. And he tells Keefy D, man, I just need you to take care of this situation with
Oh, wow. That was wild.
Friggin' Tupac.
Keefy, he's claiming that Puffy offered him $1 million to kill Suge or Tupac.
Both
or
of them.
both.
Yeah, both their names came out.
Ooh.
$1 million in 1995 is equivalent to over $2 million today. And to a Compton Crip who's probably broke, this is life-changing money.
Man,
if this is actually
goddamn.
true, then Puff is a cold man. Because there's no way in the world that any gang member would ever turn this down. And Puffy knew this. It was only a
Cold
matter
man,
of time.
man. I was like, what was the cold man?
September 7th.
Cool, like, oh, God.
7th, 1996. It's a big day in Las Vegas as Mike Tyson is set to fight at the MGM Grand. Of course, for the big fight, all of the celebrities are in town, including Tupac. Well, it's the afternoon and everyone is having fun before the event. Particularly, Tupac and Suge Knight are walking through the casino lobby. That's when they're approached by a man who's being disrespectful. This would be a young man named Orlando Anderson, the first cousin of Keefe D and fellow Southside Crip. Well, the story goes that he disrespects Pac, and Pac socks him in front of everyone. Orlando is furious, so he goes and gives a statement to police.
Tupac punched me.
Then he meets up with Keefe D and tells him about what happened at the casino. So Keefe and Orlando sit in the hotel room thinking about what they can do. Then they get a call from a very important factor. This would be
Man, those living their life on the streets, on the wild side.
a New York plug and associate of Puffy by the name of Eric Von Zip.
Eric
Zip
Von
allegedly
Zip.
calls them and says to meet in his rental car. Keefe and Orlando hop in and he hands them a Glock 40. They then hop out and Zip takes off.
And who, like, how do you ignore the story, Seth?
Keefe and Orlando then hop in their own car. 11 p.m. The Tyson fight empties out and Tupac hops in Suge's BMW 7 Series. Suge then pulls off and stops at a red light on Las Vegas Boulevard. Coincidentally, Orlando and Keefe happen to be reaching the same red light. They hear some girls yelling Tupac's name and approaching the BMW. That's when they pull alongside the car. From there, Orlando rolls his window down and
The rest is history. God.
the rest is history. The incident shocked the world and shifted all the attention away from the Mike Tyson victory. The world's biggest rapper was now in critical condition and not expected to survive. 5 days later, on September
That's crazy, man. Crazy.
13th, Tupac was pronounced dead at the hospital. Everyone wanted to know who did this, but no witnesses ever came forward. Well, here is where things get juicy. Damn, that was corny.
So, was it PIDDY that around the death of Tupac?
Right after the news broke, Keefe D recalls getting a call from Puffy. He claims that Puff asked him, "Was that us?" and promised him the $1 million reward.
You said that Puffy called and said, "Was that us?"
Because Puffy called too, right?
Yeah, her,
Well,
him and Biggie's wife. What's her name?
Faith
Faith.
Evans?
Yeah.
So tell me about that. Them two calls and everything.
He just asked, "Was that us?"
Who said that?
Puff did.
Now it's time for Puff
oh, boy.
to pay up. He allegedly sends $1 million check to Zip and tells him to wire it to Keefe.
Zip had a check in his right pocket, right back pocket, and that check was for $1 million. And that check was for $1 million.
Can you imagine what someone's life is worth?
Now, all that needs to happen is for Zip to deliver it to Keefe and his life is changed forever. But did you guys think that that would actually happen?
I know that Puff is just in. See, it's crazy guy.
So the FBI told you that Zip kept that money as
They
well.
said Zip's a dirty. Everybody cross you.
You guys never got any money
Never.
for anything.
Shit.
Nothing. Not even a pair of Sean John drawers.
Man, what was Puff thinking? It's almost like he orchestrated this.
But he never gave the money to him.
But thank God he never gave him the money, right? Think about it. If he gave the money, Puffy will be in prison now, money for hire.
You know, Eric Von Zip keeping the money kind of shielded everyone from this situation in
So he's a
twisted
savior.
type of way.
According to the FBI, because Zip didn't give the money to Keefe, Puffy dodged prison. But here's my question. Is Puff
Puffy dodged
really
prison.
responsible for what happened to Tupac? Yes, he did offer the $1 million, but
So is he responsible, man? That's a very complicated story. No one that court case, they always everyone will be cracking sense and no one will know who is who.
it was Tupac jumping Orlando Anderson that really caused the situation, right? Well, Keefe disagrees, as he thinks that Puff is to blame.
If I wouldn't have never met him, I wouldn't have never been involved in this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, man. So you feel like Puffy, he's the reason for your empire and Suge empire going down because of the whole situation with Tupac.
Exactly. He the only one still balling. Because
he's the only one still balling, man.
Other,
he's the only one still balling. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. PIDDY, the only one still balling. Everybody's not balling like that again.
Right.
But what do you guys think? Is Puff responsible for the loss of Tupac, or is Keefe D a grown man not taking responsibility for his actions? Well, if you ask Diddy, he'll tell you that he had nothing to do with it.
I know, right?
There was this documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we not even going to go there with all due respect, but it's nonsense.
Which we never
Straight up!
Yeah, thank you.
Straight up! The guy does, when they talk nonsense. Ah, my guy. Monitor, where you are, he's not gonna arrest. You know, this guy like harassing people. Ah, God.
Regardless of what you believe, the truth is that Puff was becoming the boogeyman of the rap game. With Big Jake and now Pac gone, Puff felt like nobody could mess with him. His violent ways were just starting, and that takes us to the next chapter of the story. After the passing of Tupac, Puff went about his life like nothing had happened. But for whatever reason, his bad boy artists were not so secure in their ways. In fact, they were very cautious of their whereabouts and made sure to avoid California at all costs. Eventually, though, they would have to go back to Cali. And that takes us to the Soul Train Awards of 1997. The awards are held in Los Angeles, and because of this, the bad boy artists do not want to go. In particular, Mace thinks it's too risky, and Biggie decides to not go at all. He happens to have a broken femur, and he tells Puff that he's in too much pain to fly back and forth. He also mentions that going to LA is not the best idea, which is really
I know, right?
But Puff,
I know, right? Man, God, I beg. I don't reach there. I beg. I don't come and die.
tells him that he'll be safe and nothing will happen. And according to the bad boy president Kirk Burroughs, he kept convincing him relentlessly.
We could not go, but Biggie did have an inconvenience. He had a car accident. I think it was in Brooklyn, maybe downtown Brooklyn. He had a broken femur at that time, and he was recovering from that. Big size person could not really sit.
I can imagine big size, man.
Comfortably in a plane, not even first class, with a cast on. It was uncomfortable. He was talked into going to the.
Damn, I hope this was not when he got killed, man. I beg, bro.
A portion of the trip.
Strangely though, Puff doesn't care if Biggie goes to the award show, he really just wants him at the after party.
Yo, that whole week, man, Puff was like, yo, man, yo, Big, you gotta come to this party, you know, and he wasn't getting the response that he needed from Big to make sure that he was going to the party.
Finally, Biggie caves into Puff and decides to come to LA. But what Puffy doesn't...
I hope is well. It's the story is just getting really twisted, and I'm wondering where it's taking us to, where direction which we'll find ourselves.
Knows that directly after the award show, Biggie will be flying to London. This is because Clive Davis booked him for a major media appearance where he'll be introduced to a worldwide audience. March 7th, 1997. The award show takes place and everything goes smoothly. That's when Biggie tells Puff that he's headed for the airport to fly to London. As you would expect, Puffy is livid and he calls Clive Davis right away. He tells him to cancel Biggie's appearance in London because he wants him at the party in LA.
But it was put together so that Biggie could receive an international press junket in London with all press from around the world meeting him that Saturday, Sunday after the Friday award show night. Diddy called late Friday night saying he's not going to London.
Shut up, man. Ain't going nowhere, man. Leave me alone. My guy.
Harris to cancel it. You go. You represent it. You go. He's not going. He wants to stay here in LA. So we knew how big of an event that could be.
Strange, right? Wouldn't you want your artist to fulfill this amazing opportunity?
Man. Let's see, man.
Making him skip out on a worldwide appearance just so he could go to some silly party? It doesn't quite make sense. On top of this, earlier in the day, Mace warned him that some guys might be coming after them.
They was telling them that they wanted Big and Puff, and he was all right. He was good. Me and Mace spoke, and then he was telling me all them bloods and everything that was out there.
Wahala. You tell me I won't even go.
If this wasn't enough, Gene Deal informed him as well.
I said, Puff, I got some intel. The guys are coming to kill us tonight at the museum party.
Dang. That's deep.
Here was Puff's response.
He said, Gene, I don't want to hear that. He said, you ain't got to go if you don't want to go.
So Puff knew there was a threat and brushed it off. Puff, Big, and most of Bad Boy are at Steve Stout's party in the Hollywood Hills. At 12:30 a.m., LAPD show up to shut down the party due to a noise complaint. Because of this, everyone at the party is forced to go their separate ways. For Biggie, he rolls out with his friends D-Rock, Lil Cease, and his
D-Rock.
driver G Money. At 12:45, they stop at a red light on Fairfax and Wilshire.
Nice waka man on the streets.
And that's when a Chevy Impala pulls right beside them.
Damn! Damn.
The incident shocked the world again, and everyone assumed that this was revenge for Tupac. Now, of course, this may be true, but something that happened directly after is very strange.
Dang.
Puff took a flight to San Diego just 2 hours after Biggie's passing.
Puff went to San Diego and they put him on a jet about 2 hours after Big died.
See, I don't know everything about the world, but what I do know is that when your best friend dies, you don't leave them. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and all I can think of is, was Puff involved in the passing of Biggie? Well, his bodyguard Gene Deal seems to think so.
You gotta look at what people
Man. If it's mean, Sha.
do, man. You know Pac just got killed. It ain't no kind of business Big was doing. Big couldn't even walk. He couldn't run.
I know, right? Sky.
Puff ain't want none of that beef. So what I'm gonna do is, y'all want the sheep? I'm gonna put him out the pasture. Catch him if you can. If you the wolf, if you got that wolf in you, catch him if
catch him if you can, man. Kai.
You can. Why in the hell you would put your man in a situation? There's plenty of places Big could have been. Why the West Coast?
Did Puff sacrifice Biggie in order to stop the beef on the West Coast?
I don't know, but it's so sad.
You guys tell me. There's no way that Puff would do this to his closest friend and main artist, right? I mean, after his passing, he even released songs to commemorate him. Not to mention that he spoke highly of him in interviews as well.
And as far as my theory, it would be inadequate for me to speculate. I would just be like everybody else to speculate on.
This guy is the calculating, bring the work.
Who did this or why it was done? I mean, one thing I do know is that it was evil. It was ignorant, and it hurts. You know what I'm saying?
PIDDY.
What has it been like emotionally for you? I mean, it's a tragedy. Seeing a close friend like that gunned down. What have you been going through?
Honestly, you know, it's been hard. I mean, that's the only way I could describe it, you know. When it wasn't supposed to be like this.
I hope you didn't set up your friend, though, guy.
Let's talk about that. Tupac Shakur's death about 6 months ago kind of showed how vulnerable rap artists are.
Yes.
Did Biggie at all feel that his life was in danger?
He never told me, I can only speak, he never told me he felt that his life was in danger.
He told you, no.
We always, me and him, we always had conversations, and I'm very close with God, and through our relationship, I was trying to show him how God is his friend, and he was taking in God as his friend, you know, and it was a gradual thing.
After seeing this interview, are you guys convinced that Puff had nothing to do with it? Who knows, but wow is all I have to say. But I'm not the only one who feels uneasy. In fact, Bad Boy's second biggest artist felt sick to his stomach. In the height of his rap career, Mace decided to leave Bad Boy and to become...
Oh, maybe guy hustle, man. I've seen enough, man. Guy, this guy gone pastor so that we won't die.
I'm a pastor. His relationship with Puff had fallen apart, and they've been arguing over money ever since.
Damn.
So with Biggie and Mace gone, Bad Boy was falling apart at the helm. But leave it up to the genius of Diddy, he would quickly replace their talent.
Before, sharp guy.
In 1998, Puffy would discover an East Flatbush rapper by the name of Shine Poe. Shine was brought to him by DJ Clark.
Oh, Shine was the one that went to jail. Hi for PIDDY.
And he was so impressed that he signed him to a major deal on the spot. The deal was worth millions of dollars, and Shine was given 3 cars and 2 homes. Shine was Diddy's new protege,
what?
and
3
it was
cars and
working
2
out really
homes?
well. They were quote-unquote best friends, and Puffy had him rolling with him everywhere. Maybe he was a changed man, and this was the artist he was not gonna fall out with. Or maybe Sean Combs just is who he...
My guy is just a guy. My guy is a guy. My guy, Sean Combs is just a guy. He's just a guy. He's a guy, my guy.
December 27th,
using people everywhere.
It's a big night for Shine as his debut album is finally finished and it's ready to drop after New Year's. So to celebrate, Puff takes him out to Club New York in Times Square. It's Puffy, his bodyguard Wolf, the infamous J-Lo, and of course Shine. As they're strolling through the club, Puff accidentally bumps into a man named Matthew Allen, also known as Scar. This is bad because Scar happens to be a notorious street dude from Brooklyn. Well, he instantly turns around after being bumped and sees who it is. He then decides to make a scene and starts yelling at Puff in front of everyone.
God damn! All these animals, man. Not animals, like angry people.
According to witnesses, he threatens Puff and even threatens Shine as well. He then does the unthinkable. He grabs for his waistband and all hell breaks loose. Shots ring out and everyone runs outside the club. 3 people were injured in the incident, but thankfully everyone made it. But here is where things get interesting. In typical New York fashion, Scar went straight to the police. He told them that both Puff and Shine targeted him. So the next morning, Sean and Shine were both arrested. Could this be the incident that finally takes Puff down? Puff hired the 2 best lawyers in America, Johnny Cochran and Ben Brofman. But of course, Bad
Boy... the shootout with Jennifer Lopez, that Jennifer Lopez was with him.
Boy did not provide a good lawyer for Shine. Either way, both of them were facing major time in New York prison. So here's how it went. For Puffy, his amazing lawyers worked hard and he was found not guilty on any charges. For Shine though, his case went completely differently.
God, Puff is crazy, man.
He admitted to letting a shot off in the air, but says that he was not the one responsible for the 3 victims. However, the jury didn't believe him and he was sentenced to 9 years in prison.
Fuck!
Shine felt betrayed by Puff during the trial. That's because in his eyes, he saved Puffy's life and Jennifer Lopez's. On top of this, he claims that Puffy sent a witness to testify against him in order to take...
What? Child! Puffy is just a Machiavellian hustler.
The blame off himself.
People probably have the impression that you're just consumed with the idea that you know, justice wasn't served here and that somebody turned his back on you.
It's not a matter of, you know, turning your back on me. Like, how do you call a witness to testify against your comrade? But I'm facing 25 years, and you looking at probation. Yeah, those are the things that, you understand, are unacceptable. You don't have to hold my hand. You don't have to do nothing, but don't try to hurt me. Where, you know, he calling the witnesses, you know, to do me dirty, then you understand that, you know, well, man, if these guys is working for him, because I went to the judge like 3 times complaining about inefficiency with my lawyers. Because they was just dumbing out.
So now, did Puffy sacrifice Shine so he could dodge a prison sentence himself? Well, of course, Gene Deal seems to think so.
And Shine,
Man, this is what the guy is just talking everything.
I know he had put people up to testify against him and all that. Ain't no way somebody gonna send me to jail for 10 years when we all could have walked away. Shine know what I'm talking about.
If this is all true, then it's another example of Puffy being disloyal to those he calls his friends. It seems like everyone else is disposable when his ass is on the line. Or you could look at it like this. In his defense, he had a lot on the line and he did what he had to do to be free. Either way you look at it,